Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Adam Interviews, where I am talking with folks who are doing extraordinary work in our community. No exception today. We've got Mike King, President and CEO of Jewish Home, and I'm so happy to be talking to you again. I feel like we do like a once a year thing. We talk to each other, something comes up, and we're chatting.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Great to be here. Thanks, Adam.
Of course, of course. So before we get going, it was interesting. I ran into Mike a few minutes ago when he was outside, and someone was here and said, "Oh, I have my loved one here, and I have some questions. I'm not going to get into details, because of all that. But do you get that a lot? I mean, it just seems like a lot of folks, especially middle age, 50 years old, their parents are aging, and they become advocates, and they see you. Do you get approached a lot like that?
I do, usually when they know I'm from the Jewish Home. Something like that could come up more often than you think, quite honestly.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, the concern there, and I guess that gets to the question that I have regarding elderly care throughout the region. We're going to get into the Jewish Home and how they're expanding and their incredible services and all of that in just a minute. But first, you hear about the shortages in care workers. You hear about the shortages in rooms. Is it as dire as some people are painting it out there when it comes to finding places for the elderly to live?
It's probably worse than what it's being painted, quite honestly, Adam.
Wow.
It's a very scary situation, especially here in Rochester. We are in a healthcare crisis. We have 1,000 nursing home beds that are either closed or offline since the pandemic. Our 2 hospital systems are just overflowing, backed up, where they cannot move people into lower level of care that they need to. Sometimes families are having to move their loved one out of our region, out of our county, because there's no available beds.
And you probably run into situations, there's just no alternative for these families, right? Like they just don't even know what to do next.
Yeah, it's very scary. Very scary. We do the best we can at the Jewish Home to try to accommodate as many people as we can. Fortunately, our occupancy is very high. Mostly all the time, our beds are filled. We have over 600 people living on our campus now. And but we try to make it work when we can for those individuals in need.
Yeah,
But sometimes we can't.
I guess my eyes were opened a little bit. I mean, I hear stories from friends and family members who are having difficulty. But the Family Service of Rochester story that happened last year, where this nonprofit essentially told the state, we can't do this anymore. And the state came in. And so we saw the couple of towers in the city that were evacuated, basically. And it's just, it's heartbreaking because a lot of them are not in a position to advocate for themselves. And if they don't have family, it becomes a very tricky situation.
Yeah, it's very sad, very scary. I saw that as well, and my heart went out to those individuals. I believe they all got placed, but not without challenges, right? Because that's your home. That's your home you're living in, and then all of a sudden you got to be moved out of it.
Yeah, that's I'm glad you said that, because I thought about that too. At first, my inclination was, well, when the state was coming in and moving them to a different place, I'm like, well, it's a room. But to them, even if they've been there for only 2 or 3 years, they've made that their home. They've gotten to know people. That's a great point. And I think that goes to the overall picture, Mike, where you think, well, you left your home, your house or your apartment that you've been living in when you were a younger you. But we as human beings don't lose the ability or disposition to make wherever we're living home, I suppose.
You're absolutely right. So, on our campus, it is their home. When you come to live on our campus, this becomes your home, whether you're in our independent living, our assisted living, or the nursing home. And it's about, just like in your own home, it's about relationships you build, the connections you make with other folks living there, the connections you make with staff. So then when you're uprooted from those places, it's very traumatic. In New York State, if you're not aware, we've had over 41 nursing homes that have closed since 2014. 4,000 beds are offline. And the primary reason for that is lack of Medicaid funding. Nursing homes have not had any kind of increase in their Medicaid rate since 2007. So just think about it. Nursing homes are paid on their Medicaid rate based on costs established in 2007. We all know what's happened since 2007. Wages have gone up, costs of goods have gone up, utilities. But New York State, for some reason, has failed to invest in nursing homes. So what happens? Nursing homes either close or they take beds offline because they can't afford to staff them. Fortunately, at the Jewish Home, we're not in that situation. We have great staff, no agency staff, people that are very committed to us, donors that, are very charitable. But, some organizations aren't as fortunate as the Jewish Home.
No, you see it. And then we saw the impact of that during the pandemic because without the beds, they clog the emergency department.
Yeah. So Rochester, at least last time I looked, has a dubious distinction of having the longest wait times in New York State for ED visits. And it's not because the hospital systems are not trying, because they're working real hard to move those people through. But as I said earlier, it's about the throughput. If you've got people that are taking up acute care beds that really don't belong in acute care beds because they can't move them out, then it clogs it up. This flu outbreak that is going on right now is just exasperating the problem, right? People are in the hospitals now with flu that, we're filling up beds that, other people could be taking.
Now, what is the Jewish Home? And obviously I say that, let me step back. So I volunteered at the Jewish Home back in 96, 97. I think it was only the tower back then. I can't remember.
It was. And by the way, we're still looking for volunteers.
All right. Well, listen, I have to say I had a great time. I met some incredible people. There was a guy named Abe who would man the elevator area. And he was the ambassador. And he would say hi to you. And it speaks to just how home-y it is in a place like this. And they were equipped to handle a lot within here to keep people out of the emergency department. At the Jewish Home right now, what level are you at? What can you handle? What can you not handle before you have to send someone to the hospital?
We're very fortunate. We have a high clinical capability. We employ all our medical staff, so we have physicians on staff, nurse practitioners on staff. We have high expertise around the clinical capabilities. In fact, just recently, we launched an IV Center of Excellence where we trained all our nurses how to insert IVs. And why that's important, in a lot of nursing homes, older adults have to be sent out if they need an IV inserted. In our place, we can do it ourselves. So that's one of the ways we're trying to keep people out of emergency rooms and out of the hospitals.
Yeah, that's it's a community impact there, really.
Yes.
It's not just obviously for the benefit of the patients and their family. It's a community impact. What's the solution here outside of Medicaid? I think you're going to say, well, obviously the state and the government, the federal government. By the way, when you talk about Medicaid, because a lot of that comes through the federal government, we've seen budgetary changes. Is that going to impact how much the state can or should give out?
Big impact, Adam. I'm glad you asked. The recently passed, bill that the Trump administration approved and Congress approved is having significant downstream effects on states like New York. Here in New York, I think the impact is several $billion for this year, and then it doubles in the following year in terms of the overall impact.
So what happens to a place like Jewish Home when that happens?
Like I said, we're very fortunate. We've got a culture of staff that are very committed to our organization, very low turnover. We're very fortunate, as I said, no agency staff. But we've also got boards that are very, both our boards are very engaged, very supportive, very forward-thinking. So what we've done over the last 15 years is move away from having the Jewish Home as our sole source of revenue to create all different lines of services in the organization, so that if we have struggles inside the nursing home, we have other programs and services that can help support the organization.
What is the solution when it comes to the shortage? Are there training programs through MCC? What's being done to address the pipeline?
You're talking about shortage of staff.
Staff,
obviously.
Excuse me, what did I say?
You just said shortage.
Excuse me, yes.
Yeah, lots of stuff is going on. At the Jewish Home, we've done several things. We actually now we built in a career ladder for our staff so that whether you're a housekeeper, you can move within your housekeeping department up to additional responsibility.
Oh, that's good.
Same with nursing, same with maintenance. We're now funding a tuition reimbursement program for CNAs that want to be LPNs that want to be RNs, allowing them to go to school, maybe reduce their workload and still pay them for that time while they're going to school. So we've put many people through that as well. So these are some of the things that are going around, but it's still not enough. We have to have more people that are really interested in working in healthcare and in long-term care specifically.
And there's a lot of reward to it too. I know it's extraordinarily difficult, but the relationships that you create are wonderful.
You're so spot on. I mean, that's what makes senior living so unique. It's not episodic like you might have in the hospitals. It's a relationship you build with these individuals that come to live with you, that become part of your life, that become part of your home.
I try to wait 10 minutes before I get sci-fi with my interviewees. So it's we're 10 minutes into the interview. So I watched a piece on 60 Minutes this past Sunday where it talked about, you know, the evolution of robots, especially with working on cars and storage and things like that. Do you foresee that being an impact in nursing homes in the coming years?
There could be an impact. I wouldn't say no. I don't see it being a big impact. For example, maybe there's opportunities in our dining where robots could help bring meals out and maybe vacuum, you know, the dining rooms. But it's never going to replace the in-person individual that can look our residents in the eye, provide the caring support that they need, and are expected from our staff.
Yeah, no, and if it can, it's probably well beyond when we're going to be employed.
Exactly.
In addition to that, I had a newfound respect for nursing homes. I just finished up the book 1 Second After, which is apparently going to be made into a Netflix show or something like that. And it's an apocalyptic type thing where the power goes out. And really the first place that was hit hard is nursing homes. I mean, the folks there they need constant care. So within 3 days without power, it's a devastating situation. Do you plan for emergencies like that? I mean, I don't mean to be macabre here, but is that something that you have to plan for?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's funny you should bring that up because I've been in a nursing home when I worked in Buffalo where the power went out and they had no generator.
Oh, how is that even possible?
And yeah, exactly. But it becomes very evident how frail individuals really are when you lose power, when the elevators don't work, when you can't get the heat going, when you can't provide meals. Fortunately, at the Jewish Home, we have emergency generators on every building that we operate, including the new program we're opening up in May, our Lilac Grove. We're making sure we have full functioning power. So if that happens, our residents are going to notice a difference.
Yeah, because like you said, it's within hours. It becomes extraordinarily troubling.
Yeah, it's very scary.
So the last time I personally reported on an update at the Jewish Home, there were these like pods. I forget the name of them. They were like little facilities kind of wrapped around the front of the facility.
Yeah.
What's the name of that again, and how's it going?
Greenhouse homes.
That's right.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going great. You know, I'm so glad you brought it up. So we, as you know, we opened them up in 2019. We have actually 9 greenhouse homes on our campus in these cottages, we call them.
Yeah.
So the greenhouse is it's an organization. It's been around for over 25 years, and we're the 5th largest in the country right now, greenhouse community.
Incredible.
All private rooms, showers, individual kitchens. But we also have that inside the tower too. So no matter where you live on our campus, you get a private room, and many of the rooms have a fully functioning shower, which is a big deal in nursing homes. You'd be surprised. Most nursing homes do not have showers inside their rooms.
Wow, I did not know that.
Most people don't. Yeah, it's a big differentiator. Be able to get out of your bed and either be escorted in a wheelchair or go in the shower on your own versus walking down the hall.
You don't have to be Jewish to stay at the Jewish Home,
Not
right?
at all. Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah, I just want to clear that because I think people might hear that just like if they hear St. John's or something like that. These are very open facilities.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, we have Jewish individuals that live in our campus. We have a high Catholic population. We welcome everybody on our campus, no matter where they live.
Is there any? I know that the Jewish Home is very involved in the Jewish community with festivals and seminars and things like that. Is the Jewish lifestyle incorporated into the campus at all?
Of course, yes. Yeah, we in fact, we just got through celebrating Hanukkah most recently. So yes, we incorporate it, but we also incorporate all the holidays. We celebrate Christmas for our residents. We celebrate, and of course, Passover will be coming up, and Easter.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate them as well. We have a rabbi that's a certified chaplain. So we hold services for our Jewish residents and, of course, our Catholic residents and anybody who wants to attend services. We bring in outside resources as well if we need to.
Obviously, we keep bouncing from the positive to the concerning because I think that's the world we live in. So a concerning aspect is we've seen a rise in anti-Semitism. Out front, it says Jewish home. Has that been a concern? Have you had to increase security? Where have you gone with all of this?
Yeah, great question. What we have done, and yes, we're concerned. Of course, we're concerned, but we actually have a very safe environment. We have our own security force, as you mentioned, and we increase it when needed. We make sure there's only one point of entry into our campus, into our buildings, and you have to sign in, receive a name tag, which is good protocol regardless of whether there's anti-Semitism or not. But we need to fight against anti-Semitism. It's been on the rise dramatically since 2016. It's terrible what's going on. And I hope we can figure out ways to continue to combat it.
Yeah. Back to the positive. This spring, what's coming online?
Our new apartments called Lilac Grove. These are middle-income apartments, and this is something that our organization has talked about for several years. So this is for it's a strict rental product. So for individuals that might not qualify for low-income tax credit housing and cannot afford places like the Summit and others that have entrance fees and things like that. This is for the middle market. There is a big need in Rochester and across our states for those individuals that need housing that are what we call middle income folks. So it's for ages 62 and older. We'll have 90 apartments, one bedroom den, 2 bedrooms, community room, fitness room, fully functioning generator, so in case we have any power issues, and that's going to open up in May. We've already received close to 20 deposits on it, and it's starting to fill up pretty quick.
So on that note, I have parents of a friend, so they're actually family friends, and they are in their late 70s, seemingly completely independent. They are still living in a beautiful home right now. They have made the decision, I think it's one of these apartments, I know it's through the Jewish Home, to move now. I think that they see what happens generally, and they want that care. If they don't need it now, they want to be in the position so they don't have to do it during an emergency. What a hard decision. I just don't see a lot of people making that because you have to accept some hard truths, I think.
You're right, Adam. But my hat's off to your friends for really thinking that through and making the right decision. This is the conversation I have with many individuals. It's so smart to get connected with an organization like us early on so that as when you do need those care needs, we're ready and able to provide that care for you. So many times it becomes a crisis for families. Their loved one may end up in the hospital, and then all of a sudden they're looking for nursing home care and they hadn't thought about it for years. That's when it's the most challenging. That's when it's the most difficult for someone.
How long is the wait list right now at the Jewish Home?
Well, we have a wait list at our independent living that's almost 100. Now, if you're not aware, at the Summit, we're doing a construction project at the Summit. We're in 35 beautiful apartments. Those sold out in 6 weeks. 6 weeks, we sold those 35 apartments, and we have plans to add another 35. At the Jewish Home, we have a waiting pool. But, at the Jewish Home, we run high occupancy because, again, people want to come to the Jewish Home. But we really look to make sure that if there's individuals that are already connected with us, and they may be connected by living on our campus and one of our other programs, maybe they're part of our home and community-based services out in the community because we have a big portfolio of those. We make sure that those individuals really are the ones we're trying to move into our organization versus no one that has no connection with us. That's why I encourage people to make a connection with us as early on as they can.
Yeah. What's generally in New York State, what's the average cost of a nursing home per month?
Yeah, well, here
roughly,
roughly private pay could be $500-600 a day.
A day.
Yeah.
Wow. And does insurance help with that, or how does that work?
Well, sure. If you have long-term care insurance, or we have many individuals that still have long-term care insurance, that helps offset the cost.
Yeah. It's tough, and then you break it down. Of course, you stay at a hotel, it's going to be $300 to $400, and that's without the medical services and the food and everything like that.
That's
So
correct. It's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We don't shut the lights off at 5 o'clock on Fridays, right? We're taking
Yeah.
care of people's lives, so we're providing round the clock care.
yeah, so this is something you have to plan for. So if you're, again, if you're 10 years out, 20 years out, these are things you have to think about.
That's correct.
I mean, we love to think that we're going to be 92, and God bless the people who are in their own apartments,
I
but that's not always the case,
That's the rare exception.
isn't it? Though.
Yes.
Super weird question. There was a way back when there was like a little hump on the grass close to the Jewish home. It almost looked like a bunker, like a fallout shelter. Is that still there? Has that been developed over?
I'm
since
not
then?
sure if I know
All right.
exactly what you're talking
All
about.
right. And so you've been there for how many years?
It's 21 years.
21 years.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe it got rolled over. I always
What-
wondered what that was.
Well, we've had a lot of construction on the campus
Yeah.
since 1996 when you were a volunteer. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember when they built Citygate over the old psychiatric facility,
Yes,
they
yes.
found tunnels, and it's always interesting what happens when you find.
Nothing like that has happened.
Yeah, all right. Good to know. Good
Yeah.
to know. So going back to the conversation that you have to have with folks about moving in, I think there's a stigma attached to a nursing home, right? Like you have the image in your mind, right? When I say that. And I think that Jewish Home, St. John's, a lot of the facilities in our area, I'm so glad they call us and have us come in. And because when you go there, that's not what you see.
You're absolutely right. We have, I like to say there's life, love, and laughter on our campus all the time with our residents and staff. It's about building connections. But, as you know, you come into our nursing home, it's not a typical nursing home. It's a beautiful home, and that's the way we set it up. As I said, it's all individualized care, private rooms, showers. But even beyond that, it's the programming, the activities that take place. We have certified music therapists, creative arts therapy, all kinds of programming. Keep our residents engaged no matter where they're living on our campus. So they're very busy, very engaged, and they love living there.
How do you handle Alzheimer patients?
That's a great question. So one of the things of course, we have Marion's House, which is the only physical structure not on our campus. I know not sure if you've ever been there.
I have not.
Named after Marion Farish. They were Farish Foundation was big donors to help build this house. It's right on South Clinton. It's a day program for individuals with early memory stage Alzheimer's. So they come, they receive all kinds of programming, and then they go home. So that's one element. Then we have on our campus the Lodge at Wilk Manor, which is assisted living memory care, which is a secure unit for individuals that might be wandering or something like that. And we provide all kinds of wonderful engagement for them. And then in the nursing home, we also have a memory care unit. We also have a neurobehavior unit as well. And the other thing we've done just recently, we launched a Dementia Care Center of Excellence, the Claire and Jerry Rotenberg Dementia Center Care of Excellence, which is we've hired a navigator. So when you have dementia affects everybody. You could be Jewish, you could be Catholic. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
You could be young or old, right? It affects everybody. And we've learned that it's a real challenge. So we've partnered with organizations like Lifespan and the Alzheimer's Association, and we've hired a care navigator to help individual navigate the challenges that happens when your loved one is now faced with these memory issues. So we'll help them either within our campus
Right.
or help them gather resources out in the community.
Yeah, and I think tracking and everything is a huge issue too. I've seen doors that will only unlock if
Oh,
you have a
yes.
certain. So
Yeah, we have those.
yeah, very interesting. How about getaways, right? Because especially in the winter, it might be hard for them to walk around. Do you offer activities outside of the campus?
Oh yeah, we're taking people all over the place all the time.
Then you should bring them to News 8. We'll give them a tour.
Huh?
We'll take them to News 8. We'll give them a tour.
All right. Well, we'll take you up on it. They would love it. But we go to all different places all over Rochester. We have a great recreation therapy department that is so engaged with our residents. So that's one of the reasons people love living on our campus is because of all the programming we do.
Yeah. If you had your magic wand, and obviously you mentioned the Medicaid issue, getting more Medicaid funding, but outside of that, to make things easier for folks in the coming years, what would you do? What would you change?
Well, Medicaid obviously is a big one. We have to get the funding into nursing homes so that more beds can open up, organization can add beds, make investments into their buildings, like we've done over the years. Figure out ways to get people excited about senior living and working in senior living. It's not necessarily, for lack of better words, a sexy thing for nurses and others. They tend to go to the hospitals. But as you already said, it's so rewarding, so fulfilling to be part of it. And at the Jewish Home, I should have mentioned, we put in place a grocery store for our employees.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So this was, and again, it's all related to Medicaid funding. We had conversations about we really would like to pay our staff living wages. State doesn't allow us to do it because they don't give us enough money in the Medicaid rate. So what else could we do? Working with our foundation and with donors, we actually built a grocery store down inside the Jewish Home, 3 freezers, 3 coolers, shelving units. We stock it with all kinds of food twice a month. And then we have, for our employees that are eligible, they can come down and fill 2 bags of groceries and take it home with them. It is one of the most rewarding things we've done as an organization. So here you go. You've got employees that have never been able to provide a full Thanksgiving meal for their family. And they'll go in there and actually they'll start crying because now they can have a turkey, they can have mashed potatoes, they can have corn, everything, and put a Thanksgiving meal.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. And it underlines, unfortunately, the pervasiveness of food insecurity in our society, too.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. A typical employee in a nursing home, and I'm talking about us, is usually a single, female, usually single, usually 2 or 3 individuals in their house. They're trying to figure out how to pay the rent, how to do the car payment, doctor bills. Food is the last thing sometime on their mind, right? They're going to, getting the the McDonald's meal. So we wanted to provide healthy meals and a way for people to, as much as we can, remove that food insecurity because it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Last question for you here. Is home care going to be, obviously you've seen the crisis expand into home care as well. At the same time, I've heard, I think I read an essay advocating for more of that, saying we don't necessarily have to move them into a facility. If we can provide just a little bit of care, it can prolong their stay outside of a facility or the ED. Your thoughts on where that's going?
It's going, we're moving into that space in a big way. So we now have a licensed home care agency under our portfolio where we provide care in people's homes. Of course, we have physician house calls practice where we have physicians come to their house. A tech hub at home where if you have, if your parents need help with technology, Adam, we can actually go to their house and help them set up their Wi-Fi.
What are you doing at 1 o'clock today?
Yeah. Exactly. And then we see that as a big growth area for home and community-based services.
Yeah, it seems like you kind of are thinking about everything and where things are going. So with that, I'll let you get back to it. Mike King, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, Mike King joining us, talking to us not just about the Jewish Home, but elder care throughout our community. Obviously, as we've been reporting on, some very concerning elements, some concerning trends that we will continue to follow. At the same time, it's nice to know that we've got folks like Mike at the helm thinking about how we as a community can address this throughout various facilities. So again, want to thank Mike for taking some time away. And if you want to volunteer, I'm letting you know, it's fun. Head over to the Jewish Home, St. John's, wherever you want to go. But you will develop relationships that you will enjoy for the rest of your life. I can promise you that. With that, enjoy this relationship I have with you guys. Please tell your family and friends about the Rochester First streaming app. We will continue to put good stuff on here, and I will continue to interview people making a difference in our community. Take care, everyone.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.